Elias stood at the crossroads of his life, burdened by the shackles of financial stress. He had always been a hard worker, a dedicated family man, but no matter how much he toiled, the relentless clutches of financial strain had him firmly in their grip. The anxiety that often gnawed at his soul had become an unwelcome companion, and he decided it was time for a change. Elias had always been a man of routine, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that something was wrong. His days had become a monotonous blur of deadlines, bills, and financial worries. Every night, he'd lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, pondering the elusive causes of his persistent financial stress. It was on this particular evening that something inside him awakened, a yearning for a change that couldn't be ignored any longer. He sat up in bed, the soft glow of the moonlight casting a cool, silvery hue across his room. The questions that had been haunting him now demanded answers. What were the scientific reasons behind his financial stress, and how could he fix it? It was as if the universe conspired to answer his silent plea for guidance, for outside his window, the stars shimmered in a way that felt like a cosmic invitation. The next morning, Elias embarked on his journey towards understanding the roots of his financial stress. He knew that before he could fix it, he had to know what caused it. Armed with a steaming cup of coffee and his laptop, he began to dive into the world of financial stress. As he delved into his research, he realized that stress, including financial stress, had deep scientific reasons. The body's response to stress was governed by the release of cortisol, a hormone that triggered the infamous fight or flight response. This hormonal surge caused increased heart rate and blood pressure. Over time, chronic stress could lead to a host of health issues, including financial stress. Elias felt like he was reading the story of his life in medical journals and research papers. The awakening was real. He had discovered that the very stress he felt wasn't just a psychological state, it had a profound physical basis. Elias resolved to understand this mechanism better, to grasp how cortisol was directly related to his financial worries. The solution was not to be found in a single day, but this newfound knowledge was a crucial first step. Elias realized that if he could control his stress, he could regain control of his finances. With a sense of determination and the first traces of hope in his heart, he embarked on this journey towards financial freedom. The days ahead promised challenges, but they also held the keys to understanding, transformation, and the eventual healing of his financial woes. As Elias closed his laptop, the soft glow of his desk lamp casting a warm aura around him, he knew that his awakening marked the beginning of a profound transformation. Little did he know that his pursuit of understanding the scientific reasons behind his financial stress would lead him on a remarkable journey, with insights and daily practices that would change his life in ways he had never imagined. Elias's journey had begun with a profound awakening, and on day 2, he delved into the transformative power of mindfulness. As he sipped his morning coffee, Elias contemplated how he could apply this concept to reduce the financial stress that had been a constant companion. Mindfulness was not a new term for him, but he had never fully embraced its potential. To Elias, it had always seemed like a vague and elusive concept. However, the more he researched, the more he came to understand that mindfulness was not just about meditation and esoteric practices, it was a practical tool for achieving emotional balance, reducing stress, and ultimately making more informed financial decisions. Elias decided to start his day with a simple mindfulness exercise. He sat in a comfortable chair, closed his eyes, and took deep, deliberate breaths. He focused on the sensation of his breath entering and leaving his body. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. As his mind quieted, he allowed himself to acknowledge his thoughts and feelings without judgment. The worries about his mortgage, the upcoming credit card bills, and the pressure of providing for his family floated to the surface. Instead of pushing these thoughts away, he simply observed them, allowing them to exist without judgment. This practice was not about ignoring his financial concerns, it was about confronting them with a clear mind. Elias realized that he had often let his worries and stress dictate his financial decisions. He'd impulsively buy things to relieve stress or make choices driven by fear rather than reason. Throughout the day, Elias continued to weave mindfulness into his routine. He paid attention to the sights, sounds, and sensations of daily life, from the warmth of sunlight on his skin during his lunch break to the gentle rustling of leaves as he walked through the park. These small moments of awareness, he discovered, allowed him to find peace in the present and to appreciate the abundance in his life. At work, Elias's newfound mindfulness had a tangible effect on his productivity. Instead of worrying about the financial report he had to deliver, he focused on each task, breaking it down into manageable steps. His co-workers noticed a difference in his demeanor, too. He was calmer, more approachable, and he tackled challenges with a sense of purpose and composure. As the day drew to a close, Elias returned home, where his family awaited him. His daughter, Sarah, was eager to share her drawings, and his wife, Emily, had prepared a delicious dinner. Elias realized that mindfulness had not only made him a better worker but also a more present and engaged husband and father. In the past, he would have been distracted by his financial concerns, but now, he was truly there, savoring the small, beautiful moments. With a clear mind and an open heart, Elias sat down at his laptop to take another step in his journey. He researched how mindfulness could be applied to financial decision-making. He found that the key was to pause and take a breath before making any significant financial choices. This brief moment of reflection allowed him to evaluate his decisions from a place of mindfulness, considering their long-term consequences rather than reacting out of stress or impulse. Elias knew that his journey was far from over, but on day 2, he had already discovered the power of mindfulness. It had become his secret weapon against financial stress, a source of strength and clarity as he navigated the complex financial landscape. With a deep sense of gratitude for the simple practice he had incorporated into his life, Elias looked forward to the days ahead with a renewed sense of purpose and tranquility. As Elias continued his journey towards financial freedom, he discovered that setting clear and achievable goals was a pivotal step in reshaping his financial future. Day 3 was dedicated to this transformative process, and Elias was eager to apply this newfound knowledge. The morning sun cast a warm glow over his workspace as Elias sat down with a fresh notebook and a steaming cup of tea. He knew that the fog of financial stress had often been a result of vague and uncertain objectives, leaving him adrift in a sea of expenses and obligations. Today, he was determined to chart a new course. Elias began by reflecting on his long-term aspirations. He asked himself the crucial question, where do I want to be financially in the next 5 years? With mindfulness as his foundation, he considered his family's dreams and his own. He envisioned a life with reduced debt, a well-padded savings account, and the ability to provide better for his loved ones. Having defined his long-term goals, Elias then set about breaking them down into smaller, more manageable milestones. He created a roadmap that detailed specific and measurable financial achievements, ensuring that he could track his progress along the way. Each goal had to be achievable, relevant, and time-bound. One of Elias's main goals was to reduce his credit card debt. He set a clear target of paying off a specific amount of the debt by the end of the year. Another goal was to build an emergency fund. He aimed to save a certain percentage of his income each month until he had enough to cover 3 to 6 months' worth of expenses. These goals weren't vague notions anymore, they were concrete objectives, and Elias was determined to achieve them. The act of writing down these goals had a profound effect on Elias. It gave him a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. It was as if he'd been navigating a dark and stormy sea without a compass, and now he had a map to guide him towards calmer waters. Elias's newfound clarity on his financial goals had a ripple effect. He found himself making different choices throughout the day. the temptation to splurge on a fancy coffee or indulge in unnecessary online shopping lost its allure when he realized that each small expense took him further from his goals. The financial journey was a marathon, not a sprint, and he was now committed to taking each step with purpose. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Elias concluded day 3 with a sense of accomplishment. He had defined his financial goals, and he knew that this was just the beginning. The journey was a long one, and there would be challenges along the way. But with his clear objectives and a growing sense of mindfulness, he was now better equipped to navigate the path to financial freedom. Elias closed his notebook and glanced at the clear sky outside his window, feeling a renewed sense of hope. As he drifted to sleep, he knew that the next day would bring fresh challenges and new discoveries. His journey had only just begun, and each day was a step closer to a brighter financial future. On day 4 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias confronted the weight of his debt dilemma. Debt had been a persistent shadow, contributing significantly to his financial stress. It was time to face this issue head-on and develop a plan to tackle it. Elias started the day by gathering all his financial statements and credit card bills. He laid them out on the kitchen table, each statement a reminder of the debt that had accumulated over the years. It was a daunting sight, but he was determined to bring order to this chaotic aspect of his financial life. As he examined the statements, Elias recognized the scientific reasons behind his debt. High interest rates were consuming a significant portion of his income. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks. The debt was not just a burden but a financial parasite that fed off his earnings. With newfound determination, Elias formulated a plan to address his debt dilemma. He decided to focus on one debt at a time, starting with the credit card carrying the highest interest rate. This approach, known as the debt avalanche method, would help him pay off the most expensive debt first. Elias allocated a portion of his income, beyond his minimum monthly payments, to expedite the debt repayment process. He understood that every extra dollar he put towards his debt was a step closer to financial freedom. It was not easy, sacrifices had to be made. He cut back on dining out, reduced his entertainment expenses, and eliminated impulse purchases. His journey required discipline and restraint. The power of mindfulness, which he had discovered on day 2, played a crucial role in managing his debt. Elias reminded himself to stay focused on his financial goals. Whenever he was tempted to spend recklessly or accumulate more debt, he practiced the deep breathing exercises that had become a daily ritual. Mindfulness allowed him to control impulsive financial decisions and maintain a clear perspective. As the days turned into weeks, Elias celebrated small victories. The first credit card balance had been paid off, and he had moved on to the next one. The weight of debt began to lift, and the burden on his shoulders felt a little lighter. Elias also explored balance transfer options to consolidate his credit card debt at lower interest rates. This strategy would enable him to save money on interest payments and accelerate his path to debt freedom. The scientific understanding of his financial situation fueled his determination to conquer the debt dilemma. Day by day, Elias chipped away at his debt, maintaining a laser-like focus on his financial goals. He constantly reminded himself that the freedom from debt was not just a financial objective, it was a path to peace of mind and a life less shackled by financial stress. As he closed the books on day 4, Elias felt a sense of achievement and relief. The debt dilemma was far from solved, but it was now under control. Each step he took brought him closer to his ultimate goal of financial freedom. Elias knew that the journey was far from over, but he had taken a significant stride towards a brighter financial future, one without the looming specter of debt. On day 5 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias turned his attention to the wisdom of budgeting. As he sipped his morning coffee, he realized that understanding where his money went was a crucial part of regaining control of his finances. Budgeting was not just about restricting spending, it was a tool for allocating money to what truly mattered and ensuring that he had enough to achieve his financial goals. Elias started the day by setting up a budgeting system that would help him track his income and expenses. He began by listing all his sources of income, from his monthly salary to any additional income he earned from side gigs. Understanding the total amount he had to work with was the first step in creating an effective budget. Next, he categorized his expenses. Elias noted down his fixed expenses, such as mortgage or rent, utilities, and insurance, which remained relatively stable each month. Then, he considered his variable expenses, which included groceries, transportation, and entertainment. These expenses tended to fluctuate but were still essential to his daily life. One of the key principles of budgeting was to differentiate between needs and wants. Elias understood that to reduce financial stress, he had to prioritize his needs and cut back on his wants. He carefully reviewed his variable expenses and looked for areas where he could make cuts without significantly impacting his quality of life. Elias decided to track his spending meticulously. He used a budgeting app on his smartphone to record each expense. This simple daily practice allowed him to see exactly where his money was going. He was shocked to discover how much he was spending on small, discretionary purchases that added up over time. The power of mindfulness, which he had incorporated into his routine on day 2, played a significant role in managing his budget. He reminded himself to stay present in his financial decisions. Before making a purchase, he took a moment to consider whether it was a need or a want. He visualized the impact of each expense on his long-term financial goals. Elias also set aside a portion of his income for savings. This was not just an afterthought but a top priority in his budget. He had a specific line item dedicated to his emergency fund and another for long-term investments. He understood that building financial security required planning for the future, and this budgeting practice was a testament to that commitment. As the days turned into weeks, Elias noticed a significant change in his financial habits. He no longer felt the urge to make impulsive purchases or dine out frequently. He had a newfound sense of control over his money. He was no longer a slave to financial stress, he was the master of his financial destiny. Elias's budget was a living document, one that required regular review and adjustment. He checked his expenses and income at the end of each month, making necessary changes to stay on track. Budgeting became a part of his daily life, a practice that allowed him to reach his financial goals and reduce financial stress. As he closed the books on day 5, Elias was proud of the budgeting wisdom he had acquired. He had learned that budgeting was not a constraint but a liberating tool that offered him financial clarity and control. His journey was far from over, but with a well-defined budget as his guide, he felt confident that he was moving in the right direction towards financial freedom. On day 6 of his journey to financial freedom, Elias decided to tackle the crucial task of building an emergency fund. He understood that having a financial safety net was essential to reducing stress and achieving long-term stability. The morning sun cast a warm glow through the window as Elias sat down with his budget and financial goals. He knew that building an emergency fund would serve as a shield against unexpected financial shocks, providing peace of mind and preventing him from sliding back into the abyss of stress. Elias started by determining the size of his emergency fund. Financial experts recommended saving at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. He calculated this amount based on his monthly budget, which he had meticulously refined on day 5. To make the process more manageable, Elias decided to start small. He set a target of saving 1 month's worth of expenses initially and then gradually increasing it over time. This way, he could make steady progress without feeling overwhelmed. To ensure that he consistently contributed to his emergency fund, Elias created a separate savings account. This account was not linked to his daily checking account, making it less tempting to dip into for non-emergencies. Elias allocated a specific portion of his income to his emergency fund in his budget. Just like paying bills or buying groceries, this contribution became a non-negotiable expense. By automating the transfer of funds to his emergency fund account, he ensured that the money was set aside before he had a chance to spend it elsewhere. The process of building an emergency fund was not without challenges. There were times when unexpected expenses cropped up, and Elias was tempted to dip into his newly established fund. However, he reminded himself that this fund was his lifeline, the key to reducing financial stress. He worked on developing the discipline to resist the urge to use it for non-emergencies. Elias also realized that his definition of emergencies needed to be clear and realistic. A true emergency was a medical crisis, a sudden job loss, or a necessary home repair, not a last-minute vacation or an impulse shopping spree. It was essential to maintain a clear boundary between what constituted an emergency and what did not. Mindfulness continued to be a powerful ally in Elias's financial journey. When faced with unexpected expenses or the temptation to use his emergency fund, he took a deep breath and considered the situation with a calm, clear mind. This practice helped him make rational decisions that were aligned with his financial goals. As the weeks passed, Elias watched his emergency fund grow. He found comfort in knowing that he had a financial cushion to fall back on in times of need. The stress of unforeseen expenses was significantly reduced, and he was beginning to feel the peace of mind that had eluded him for so long. On day 6, Elias learned that building an emergency fund was not just a financial goal, it was a form of self-care. It was a way to protect himself and his family from the unexpected twists and turns that life could bring. With his emergency fund in place, he was better prepared to face the uncertainties of the future and had taken a significant step towards financial security and, ultimately, financial freedom. On day 7 of his journey to financial freedom, Elias explored the world of investments, seeking enlightenment on how to make his money work for him. He realized that relying solely on his income wouldn't lead to the financial security he desired. The day began with Elias delving into the science behind investments. He discovered that investing was not just about parking his money somewhere and hoping for the best. It was a strategic process that, when done wisely, could help him grow his wealth over time. Elias understood that there were various investment options, each with its own set of risks and potential rewards. He spent hours researching and learning about stocks, bonds, real estate, and mutual funds. He studied the historical performance of these investment vehicles and the factors that influenced their returns. After gaining a solid understanding of the different investment options, Elias decided to take the plunge. He knew he couldn't put all his eggs in one basket, so he diversified his portfolio. Diversification was a scientific strategy that reduced risk by spreading investments across various assets. With the guidance of a financial advisor, he crafted an investment plan tailored to his financial goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon. His plan included short-term investments, such as high-yield savings accounts, to build an emergency fund and medium to long-term investments in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds to achieve growth over time. As Elias started investing, he realized the importance of patience and discipline. The world of investments could be volatile, with markets fluctuating daily. However, he was determined not to let short-term market swings affect his long-term goals. He practiced mindfulness daily, reminding himself to stay calm and focused on his investment strategy. In addition to traditional investments, Elias explored the concept of passive income. He invested in income-generating assets like rental properties and dividend-paying stocks. Passive income streams added a layer of financial security and stability to his portfolio, allowing him to reduce his dependence on his primary income source. Elias also embraced the power of compounding, a scientific phenomenon where the returns on investments generate earnings, and these earnings, in turn, generate more earnings. He realized that the sooner he started investing, the more significant the impact of compounding would be on his wealth. One of his daily practices became monitoring his investments regularly. He didn't obsess over it, but he checked his portfolio periodically, adjusted his asset allocation as needed, and stayed informed about the performance of his investments. The more he understood about his financial choices, the more confident he felt in his investment decisions. As time passed, Elias observed his investments growing. While there were occasional setbacks, his diversified portfolio protected him from substantial losses. He knew that investing was a long-term endeavor and that consistent contributions and adjustments were the keys to success. By the end of day 7, Elias had gained investment enlightenment. He realized that investing was not just about taking risks, it was about making informed, strategic decisions based on financial goals and market research. He had become an active participant in his financial future, and the rewards were beginning to show. Elias had unlocked a new path to financial freedom, one that relied on the science of investing to secure his financial well-being. On day 8 of his journey to financial freedom, Elias recognized the power of automating his finances. He understood that, by setting up automatic systems, he could streamline his money management, reduce the risk of missing payments, and increase his savings. The day started with Elias creating a detailed plan for automating his finances. He reviewed his budget and identified the recurring expenses and savings goals that could benefit from automation. This included his monthly bills, savings contributions, and debt repayments. Elias began by setting up automatic bill payments for his essential expenses. He linked his checking account to these payments, ensuring that they were deducted on the due date without fail. This eliminated the risk of late fees and helped maintain a positive credit history. Automation didn't stop with bill payments. Elias also set up automatic transfers to his emergency fund and investment accounts. A portion of his income was allocated to these accounts, ensuring that he consistently saved and invested without needing to think about it. He decided to automate his debt repayments as well. By scheduling automatic transfers to his credit card companies and loan providers, he could steadily reduce his debts without the temptation to skip payments or spend the money elsewhere. Elias also enrolled in his employer's retirement plan, such as a 401k, and set up automatic contributions from his paycheck. This was a tax-efficient way to save for retirement, and by doing it automatically, he wouldn't miss the money he never saw in his checking account. As he embraced automation, Elias realized the psychological impact it had on his financial habits. The stress of remembering due dates, allocating funds, and making timely payments had been replaced by a sense of ease and financial order. Automation was like a reliable assistant that ensured his financial tasks were completed without hassle. Elias continued to use his budget as a reference point for automation. He reviewed his budget regularly and made necessary adjustments to his automated systems. This allowed him to stay on top of his financial goals and adapt to any changes in his financial situation. The power of mindfulness was still a significant part of Elias's daily routine. He used mindfulness techniques to stay present in his financial decisions, even though many aspects of his finances were automated. By remaining aware of his financial goals and choices, he could make adjustments and decisions that aligned with his long-term objectives. By the end of day 8, Elias had successfully automated his finances. He had transformed his financial management from a manual, error-prone process into a streamlined and efficient system. Automation had not only reduced the stress of handling finances but also ensured that he consistently met his savings and investment goals. Elias's journey was progressing smoothly, and he was now equipped with the tools to maintain his financial stability and continue his path towards financial freedom. On day 9 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias recognized the value of education as an investment. He understood that enhancing his skills and knowledge could open doors to higher-paying opportunities and improve his financial situation. The day began with Elias reflecting on his current skill set and career prospects. He realized that, to achieve financial security and reduce stress, he needed to invest in his education and personal development. The more he learned, the more he could earn. Elias decided to start with online courses and workshops. He researched platforms that offered high-quality, affordable courses in his field and areas of interest. With a few clicks, he enrolled in a course on a topic he was passionate about. The flexibility of online education allowed him to balance learning with his work and family responsibilities. As he delved into his chosen course, Elias appreciated the immediate benefits of education as an investment. The new skills and knowledge he gained were applicable to his current job, making him a more valuable employee. This, in turn, opened the door to the possibility of a raise or promotion, which could significantly increase his income. Elias also realized that education wasn't limited to formal courses. He sought out books, articles, and podcasts related to personal finance and investing. These resources deepened his understanding of financial concepts, helping him make informed decisions about his money. Furthermore, Elias explored opportunities for networking and professional development. He attended industry events, conferences, and webinars to connect with peers and experts in his field. The relationships he built opened doors to new job opportunities and collaborations that expanded his income potential. Another aspect of education as an investment was improving his soft skills. Elias took communication and leadership workshops, which not only made him a more effective team member but also increased his chances of advancing in his career. Mindfulness remained a crucial part of Elias's journey. He used mindfulness techniques to stay focused on his educational goals, maintain a positive attitude, and manage his time efficiently. These practices allowed him to maximize the benefits of his educational investments. As the days turned into weeks, Elias's investments in education began to pay off. He secured a higher-paying position within his company, thanks to the skills and knowledge he had acquired. His financial situation improved, and he felt a growing sense of security and empowerment. By day 9, Elias had learned that education was a powerful investment in his financial future. It not only enhanced his earning potential but also provided a sense of personal growth and fulfillment. Education as an investment was a path to financial freedom that Elias intended to continue exploring, knowing that it was a step towards a more secure and prosperous future. On day 10 of his journey toward financial freedom, Elias recognized the power of networking for success. He understood that building a strong professional network could open doors to new opportunities, career growth, and increased income. The day began with Elias contemplating his existing network and setting a goal to expand it. He recognized that networking was not about collecting business cards or making superficial connections but about building genuine relationships with people who shared his professional interests. Elias started by attending industry-related events, conferences, and seminars. He actively participated in discussions, asked questions, and engaged with fellow attendees. Through these interactions, he met like-minded individuals, experts in his field, and potential mentors who offered valuable insights and guidance. Networking wasn't limited to face-to-face encounters. Elias explored online platforms and social media to connect with professionals globally. He joined industry-specific groups and forums, where he could share his knowledge, learn from others, and establish a presence in his field. One of Elias's key strategies was informational interviews. He reached out to professionals whose careers he admired and requested brief meetings to learn about their experiences and gain advice. These conversations not only provided valuable insights but also expanded his network with professionals willing to offer guidance. Elias also engaged in mentorship. He sought out individuals who had achieved success in his field and were willing to provide mentorship. Having a mentor not only offered Elias personalized guidance but also exposed him to new perspectives and opportunities. To maintain a strong network, Elias made an effort to stay in touch with his contacts regularly. He sent occasional emails, shared interesting articles, or simply checked in to see how they were doing. Building a network was an ongoing process, and maintaining connections was crucial. Mindfulness continued to be a guiding principle in Elias's journey. He practiced mindfulness in his networking efforts by listening attentively, being present during conversations, and expressing genuine interest in the experiences of his contacts. These practices helped him build deeper and more meaningful connections. As the days turned into weeks, Elias noticed a profound shift in his career and financial prospects. Networking had opened doors to new job opportunities, partnerships, and collaborations. His expanded network provided a safety net during times of career uncertainty and ensured that he always had options for professional growth. By the end of day 10, Elias understood that networking for success was not a one-time activity but a continuous process that could lead to financial stability and greater income potential. His journey was not just about acquiring knowledge and skills, it was also about building connections that could propel him toward the financial freedom he sought. On day 11 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias recognized the importance of seeking professional advice. He understood that financial decisions, investment strategies, and long-term planning often required the expertise of specialists who could provide guidance and insight. The day began with Elias researching and identifying the financial areas where he needed professional advice. He realized that it wasn't a sign of weakness to seek help but a strategic move to make informed financial choices. Elias decided to start by consulting a certified financial planner, CFP. He scheduled a meeting with a CFP who had an excellent reputation for providing comprehensive financial advice. During the meeting, Elias discussed his financial goals, assets, and liabilities, as well as his investment and retirement plans. The CFP helped Elias develop a detailed financial plan that aligned with his goals and risk tolerance. This plan included strategies for debt reduction, investment diversification, and retirement savings. Elias was relieved to have a structured financial roadmap that he could follow. To further enhance his financial knowledge, Elias decided to consult a tax professional. He realized that proper tax planning could save him money and contribute to his financial stability. The tax expert helped Elias identify deductions, credits, and tax-advantaged accounts that he could leverage to reduce his tax liability. Elias also considered the value of legal advice. He met with an attorney who specialized in estate planning and asset protection. The attorney helped Elias create a will, establish a trust, and ensure that his assets were protected for his family's future. The power of mindfulness was still an integral part of Elias's daily practices. He approached these consultations with an open and focused mind, actively participating in discussions, asking questions, and fully understanding the advice he received. Mindfulness allowed him to make the most of these professional interactions and apply the advice effectively. As the days turned into weeks, Elias noticed the positive impact of seeking professional advice. He had a comprehensive financial plan, a well-structured tax strategy, and legal safeguards in place. He felt more in control of his financial future and was confident that these experts' advice would lead to financial freedom. By the end of day 11, Elias understood that seeking professional advice was not an admission of inadequacy but a wise step in his journey towards financial freedom. It was a way to leverage the knowledge and expertise of specialists to make well-informed financial decisions and ensure a more secure and prosperous future. On day 12 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias delved into the world of passive income streams. He understood that creating sources of income that required less active effort was a key step towards achieving financial stability. The day began with Elias evaluating his skills and assets to identify potential passive income opportunities. He realized that passive income wasn't about getting rich quick. It required initial effort, time, and sometimes money to set up, but it had the potential to generate consistent earnings over time. Elias started by exploring real estate investments. He researched rental properties in his area and found an affordable duplex. With a manageable down payment, he purchased the property and hired a property management company to handle tenant interactions and maintenance. This allowed him to earn rental income with minimal active involvement. Another passive income stream Elias considered was dividend-paying stocks. He invested in a diverse portfolio of established companies that had a history of paying dividends. These dividends provided a regular income stream without requiring daily attention to stock market fluctuations. Elias also explored peer-to-peer lending platforms, where he could lend money to individuals or small businesses in exchange for interest payments. This option allowed him to earn passive income through the interest paid on his loans, and he used the platform's tools to diversify his lending portfolio. The power of mindfulness remained an essential component of Elias's financial journey. He approached his passive income investments with a clear mind, thoroughly researching each opportunity and making informed decisions. Mindfulness also helped him remain patient and stay focused on his long-term financial goals. As the days turned into weeks, Elias noticed the growth of his passive income streams. Rental income, dividends, and interest payments began to flow steadily into his accounts. These streams of income provided him with financial security and the freedom to pursue his financial goals without solely relying on his primary job. By the end of day 12, Elias had learned the significance of passive income streams in achieving financial freedom. These sources of income provided a buffer against financial stress and increased his financial stability. His journey was far from over, but the addition of passive income was a substantial step towards securing his financial future and reducing the stress that had plagued him for so long. On day 13 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias explored the art of tracking expenses. He understood that monitoring where his money went was a fundamental practice for budgeting, controlling spending, and making informed financial decisions. The day began with Elias setting up a system for tracking his expenses. He decided to use a combination of methods, including smartphone apps and old-fashioned pen and paper. Elias was committed to understanding his spending habits and finding ways to improve them. To begin, Elias reviewed his daily, weekly, and monthly expenses. He categorized these expenses into fixed and variable categories. Fixed expenses included things like rent or mortgage, utilities, and insurance, which remained consistent. Variable expenses included items like groceries, dining out, entertainment, and impulse purchases, which fluctuated. Elias made it a point to record every expense, no matter how small or insignificant it seemed. This meticulous approach allowed him to gain a comprehensive view of his spending patterns. As Elias tracked his expenses, he noticed areas where he could cut back. He realized that he was spending more on dining out than he had thought, and that daily coffee runs were adding up significantly over time. These revelations helped him make adjustments to his budget. Mindfulness remained a vital aspect of Elias's daily practices. He used mindfulness to stay present in his spending decisions. Before making a purchase, he took a moment to ask himself whether it was a need or a want. He also considered the impact of each expense on his long-term financial goals. To make expense tracking easier, Elias also automated the process by connecting his bank and credit card accounts to budgeting apps. These apps categorized expenses, provided insights into spending trends, and offered recommendations for budget improvements. As the weeks passed, Elias's expense tracking yielded valuable results. He had a clear understanding of where his money was going, and he was able to reallocate funds to savings and investments. Tracking his expenses had become a routine, allowing him to maintain financial control and significantly reduce financial stress. By the end of day 13, Elias had learned that tracking expenses was a simple yet powerful tool for achieving financial freedom. It allowed him to make informed decisions, control spending, and allocate his money to meet his financial goals. His journey was progressing, and he was more confident than ever in his ability to secure a brighter financial future. On day 14 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias explored the world of hobbies and side hustles. He understood that pursuing interests outside of his regular job could provide not only personal fulfillment but also additional income. The day began with Elias reflecting on his passions and interests. He realized that many hobbies could be monetized, allowing him to enjoy what he loved while generating extra income. He decided to explore this potential avenue for financial growth. Elias started by turning one of his hobbies, woodworking, into a side hustle. He created a small workshop in his garage and began crafting unique, handmade wooden items. He opened an online store to sell his creations and used social media to showcase his work. This side hustle not only provided him with a creative outlet but also brought in additional income. Another side hustle Elias considered was freelance writing. He had a knack for crafting compelling stories, and he began writing articles and blog posts for various online platforms. Over time, his writing assignments grew, and he earned extra money doing what he enjoyed. In addition to these hobbies turned side hustles, Elias explored the gig economy. He signed up for ride-sharing services and delivery apps, which allowed him to earn extra money during his free time. The flexibility of these gig jobs fit well with his regular job and other commitments. The power of mindfulness remained a fundamental part of Elias's financial journey. He used mindfulness to stay focused on his side hustles, ensuring that they didn't become overwhelming or interfere with his work-life balance. Mindfulness helped him find joy in these activities and stay committed to his financial goals. As the weeks passed, Elias's hobbies and side hustles started to contribute significantly to his income. He saw the positive impact on his financial stability and realized that these pursuits not only reduced financial stress but also brought personal fulfillment. By the end of day 14, Elias had learned that hobbies and side hustles could be more than just pastimes, they could be income-generating opportunities. His journey towards financial freedom was taking shape, and he was making the most of his passions and talents to secure a brighter financial future. On day 15 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias discovered the profound significance of saying no. He understood that by exercising self-discipline and turning down unnecessary expenses, he could redirect his money towards his financial goals. The day began with Elias reflecting on his spending habits. He realized that, in the past, he had often said yes to impulsive purchases, dining out frequently, and indulging in unnecessary expenditures. These financial choices had contributed to his financial stress. Elias decided to make a change. He embraced the power of no as a tool for financial control. This meant saying no to impulse buys, no to dining out excessively, and no to unneeded subscriptions and memberships. One of the first areas where Elias applied the power of no was in dining out. He recognized that cooking at home was not only healthier but also significantly more cost-effective. By reducing his restaurant visits and opting for home-cooked meals, he saved a substantial amount each month. Elias also scrutinized his discretionary spending. He made a list of unnecessary expenses like magazine subscriptions, streaming services, and unused gym memberships. He canceled or paused these expenses, redirecting the funds towards his savings and investment accounts. Another aspect of the power of no was resisting the urge to keep up with the latest trends and fads. Elias understood that he didn't need the latest gadgets, fashion, or tech devices just because they were popular. He made a conscious choice to prioritize long-term financial goals over short-lived trends. Mindfulness was a critical companion as Elias exercised the power of no. He used mindfulness techniques to stay present in his decisions, ensuring that each no was a conscious choice aligned with his financial goals. Mindfulness helped him control impulse spending and make rational choices. As the weeks went by, Elias noticed the positive impact of his newfound ability to say no. His financial goals were no longer an abstract concept, but a concrete reality. The discipline to turn down unnecessary expenses allowed him to increase his savings and investments significantly. By the end of day 15, Elias had learned that the power of no was a transformative force in achieving financial freedom. It was not about deprivation but about making conscious choices and regaining control over his financial life. His journey was progressing, and he was determined to continue harnessing the power of no to secure a brighter financial future. On day 16 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias delved into the importance of resilience when faced with setbacks. He understood that the road to financial security could be rocky, but it was his ability to bounce back from challenges that would ultimately determine his success. The day began with Elias reflecting on the setbacks he had encountered on his journey. He had faced unexpected expenses, market downturns in his investments, and moments of self-doubt. These setbacks had caused stress and frustration, but he realized that resilience was the key to overcoming them. Elias embraced the mindset that setbacks were not failures but opportunities for growth and learning. He recognized that financial challenges were a natural part of life, and it was his response to these challenges that would define his financial future. One of the ways Elias practiced resilience was by maintaining a positive attitude in the face of setbacks. He reframed negative situations as temporary hurdles on his path to success. By focusing on solutions and remaining optimistic, he found the strength to persist. Another aspect of resilience was flexibility. Elias understood the importance of adapting to changing circumstances. When a financial setback occurred, he adjusted his plans, revised his budget, and explored new opportunities. He realized that rigidity could lead to prolonged financial stress, while adaptability allowed him to find solutions more efficiently. Mindfulness continued to be a guiding principle in Elias's journey. He used mindfulness techniques to stay present in the face of setbacks, allowing him to manage stress and make rational decisions. Mindfulness provided him with a sense of calm and clarity, even when faced with adversity. As the days turned into weeks, Elias encountered and overcame various setbacks. He used these experiences as lessons, building his resilience and determination. Each challenge he faced made him more prepared for future obstacles and brought him closer to financial freedom. By the end of day 16, Elias had learned that resilience in the face of setbacks was a critical skill for achieving financial freedom. He understood that setbacks were not a question of if, but when. His ability to bounce back and keep moving forward was what ultimately would lead him to financial security and peace of mind. On day 17 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias delved into the realm of tax optimization. He understood that with the right strategies and knowledge, he could legally reduce his tax burden, allowing him to keep more of his hard-earned money. The day began with Elias seeking out resources and professionals who could help him optimize his taxes. He realized that the tax code was complex and constantly changing, so having experts on his side was crucial. Elias scheduled a meeting with a certified public accountant, CPA, who specialized in tax planning. During their discussion, he provided detailed information about his income, expenses, and financial goals. The CPA crafted a personalized tax strategy that would maximize his deductions, credits, and savings. One of the first strategies Elias learned was the importance of tax-advantaged accounts. He enrolled in a health savings account, HSA, to reduce his taxable income and save money for medical expenses. He also increased his contributions to a retirement account, like a 401k or an individual retirement account (IRA), which provided tax benefits and helped secure his future. Elias discovered that he could deduct various expenses related to his side hustles, such as home office expenses, equipment purchases, and mileage for gig economy work. This knowledge allowed him to lower his tax liability while continuing to pursue his hobbies and side hustles. The power of mindfulness remained a vital part of Elias's journey. He used mindfulness techniques to stay focused during tax planning discussions and to understand the implications of various tax strategies. Mindfulness helped him make informed decisions that aligned with his financial goals. As Elias implemented the tax optimization strategies, he began to see substantial savings on his tax bill. These savings allowed him to allocate more funds towards his investments, savings, and debt reduction. By the end of day 17, Elias had learned that tax optimization was not about evading taxes but about using the legal provisions of the tax code to reduce his liability. It was another tool in his arsenal to achieve financial freedom, and he was now more equipped to make his financial future more secure and prosperous. On day 18 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias explored the transformative power of negotiation. He understood that by effectively negotiating, he could secure better financial outcomes, from salary increases to favorable deals on purchases. The day began with Elias researching negotiation techniques and strategies. He realized that negotiation was not just about haggling over prices, it encompassed a wide range of financial interactions, including salary negotiations, debt settlements, and even lowering everyday expenses. Elias decided to focus on improving his salary negotiation skills first. He reviewed his job performance, accomplishments, and market value. Armed with this information, he scheduled a meeting with his manager to discuss a potential raise. During the negotiation, he confidently presented his achievements and made a compelling case for a salary increase. His manager recognized his value and agreed to a raise. Elias also used negotiation skills to reduce his debt burden. He contacted his creditors and lenders to explore options for lowering interest rates and negotiating payment terms. Through these negotiations, he secured better repayment terms, making his debt more manageable. The power of negotiation extended to everyday expenses as well. Elias contacted service providers and subscription companies to negotiate lower rates. He was pleasantly surprised to find that many companies were willing to offer discounts to retain loyal customers. Mindfulness was a crucial element of Elias's negotiation strategies. He used mindfulness techniques to stay calm and focused during negotiations, helping him maintain confidence and effectively communicate his needs and expectations. As the weeks passed, Elias noticed the impact of his improved negotiation skills. He had secured a raise, reduced his debt burden, and trimmed his monthly expenses. The cumulative effect of these negotiations significantly improved his financial situation. By the end of day 18, Elias had learned that the power of negotiation was a valuable tool for achieving financial freedom. Whether in salary negotiations, debt settlements, or everyday expenses, effective negotiation allowed him to control his financial destiny. His journey was progressing, and he was gaining the skills to secure a brighter and more secure financial future. On day 19 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias delved into the world of philanthropy and giving back. He understood that while financial stability was a personal goal, he also had the power to make a positive impact on the world by helping those in need. The day began with Elias reflecting on the causes and organizations he was passionate about. He realized that giving back was not limited to the wealthy and could be integrated into his financial plan, regardless of his income level. Elias decided to start small but meaningful. He set up regular contributions to a local food bank and a children's charity. These monthly donations were budgeted as essential expenses, reflecting his commitment to giving back. He also explored volunteering opportunities within his community. Elias dedicated his time to local shelters, schools, and non-profit organizations. His hands-on involvement allowed him to see the direct impact of his contributions and fostered a sense of fulfillment. Elias also examined the tax advantages of charitable giving. He learned about deductions and credits related to donations, which not only allowed him to support causes he cared about but also provided tax benefits. The power of mindfulness remained a guiding principle in Elias's journey. He used mindfulness techniques to stay present in his acts of philanthropy, ensuring that his giving was thoughtful, meaningful, and aligned with his values. Mindfulness also helped him appreciate the impact of his contributions on others and himself. As the weeks passed, Elias's philanthropic efforts grew. He witnessed the positive change he could bring to his community, and he felt a sense of purpose that extended beyond his personal financial goals. By the end of day 19, Elias had learned that giving back was not just about financial freedom, it was about making a positive difference in the world. His journey was not only about securing his own financial future but also about contributing to the well-being of others. Elias understood that financial freedom allowed him to have a broader impact, and he was committed to continuing his journey with a spirit of generosity and compassion. On day 20 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias took a moment to celebrate his achievements. He understood the importance of acknowledging his progress and the milestones he had reached on his path to financial stability. The day began with Elias reflecting on the goals he had set at the beginning of his journey. He realized how far he had come and the positive changes he had made in his financial life. Elias decided to celebrate his achievements in a meaningful way. He invited a few close friends and family members over for a small gathering. He shared his financial journey with them, discussing the challenges he had faced and the strategies he had employed to secure his financial future. During the celebration, Elias also expressed his gratitude for the support and encouragement he had received from his loved ones. He recognized that his journey was not just about personal growth, but also about the bonds he had strengthened with those who mattered most to him. Elias used this opportunity to set new financial goals and share his vision for the future. He knew that celebrating achievements was not the end of his journey but a moment to recharge and refocus. The power of mindfulness remained a crucial part of Elias's celebration. He used mindfulness techniques to stay present during the gathering, appreciating the company of his loved ones and the significance of his accomplishments. As the day came to a close, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Celebrating his achievements had not only provided a moment of joy but also reinvigorated his commitment to his financial goals. By the end of day 20, Elias had learned that celebrating achievements was an essential part of his journey towards financial freedom. It allowed him to acknowledge his progress, express gratitude, and set the stage for the next phase of his financial growth. His journey was a continuous path, and he was ready to continue with renewed energy and determination. On day 21 of his journey towards financial freedom, Elias explored the daily practice of gratitude. He understood that cultivating a grateful mindset could improve his overall well-being, reduce stress, and positively impact his financial life. The day began with Elias starting a gratitude journal. He committed to writing down 3 things he was grateful for each morning and evening. These reflections allowed him to focus on the positive aspects of his life and shift his perspective away from financial stress. Elias also reached out to express his gratitude to the people who had supported him on his journey. He sent thank you notes and messages to friends, family, mentors, and colleagues who had provided advice, encouragement, and assistance. The power of mindfulness was a central component of Elias's daily gratitude practice. He used mindfulness techniques to stay present while reflecting on his blessings and expressing appreciation. This allowed him to savor the positive emotions that gratitude brought. As the weeks went by, Elias noticed the transformative effects of daily gratitude. His stress levels decreased, and he felt more content and positive about his financial journey. The practice of gratitude became an anchor, helping him stay motivated and focused on his goals. By the end of day 21, Elias had learned that gratitude was not just a mindset but a daily practice that could enrich his life. It had a profound impact on his journey towards financial freedom, allowing him to face financial challenges with a sense of perspective and resilience. Elias knew that, with gratitude as a daily companion, his path to financial security would be not only successful but also more fulfilling.